My friends, what's going on, guys? My name's Kai. This is Sober Living Channel. I need that list, and today I am 344 days sober. Oh my goodness. Guys, what I like to do on this channel is I love to give hope and advice and tips to anybody out there struggling with addiction, letting them know that there is a way out and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Guys, let me tell you, I've had a wonderful day. It was a wonderful day here in southern Ontario. The sun was shining, and tonight, I don't know if it's the same all over the world, but the moon is so orange. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Guys, before I start with this video, I just want to say thank you so much for all the questions on my Q&A. I will be doing it on Sunday, so if anybody has any questions for me, please ask it on the Ask Me Anything video. I will be linking it at the end of the video. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it, guys. It's the first one. Second of all, I'm going to need more water for this. This one's going to be a long video. Second of all, this video has a brief... I talked briefly about a sexual assault that happened to me, so I'm going to keep it brief. I've had to redo this take over and over and over again. I started filming this at like 8 p.m. and it's now like 10:30 p.m. This is easily the hardest video I've ever made for this channel. So I'm going to keep it as brief as possible, but there is a trigger warning. A sexual assault in it, so I'm just giving you a trigger warning now. If you don't want to watch, I'm sorry about that. Alright guys, where we left off was I was at rehab going up to the nurse and just going up and being like, listen nurse, I'm done. Like, I am out of here. I don't care how many days I have left, which was 1. And it wasn't even 1. This was like in the evening, and all I needed to do was go to bed basically and go through the next day and then graduate that night. And I couldn't do it. I don't know what was blocking me, but I wanted to drink so bad that I just went up to the nursing station and I said, I'm out of here, give me the paperwork. You can't legally hold me here. This is a private facility. I'm out of here. And I left. And it was so stupid, but at the time, it was better anyway, because at least somebody got there a day early, but I wasn't ready to quit. What I did was I went right back to the bar, and my partying continued, and it continued, and it continued, and then about 2 months later, my boss called me, and he said, why aren't you back at work? Like, you've been out of rehab for like 2 months. Why aren't you back at work? And the thing was, I was making a lot of money with my side business. And with my side business, I didn't really need to work. So I was partying all the time. And with my side business being dealing, I was just at home all the time. All I needed to do was sit at home, play video games, watch TV, and drink, and people would just come over, So that was my life for like a good year, and then eventually I decided, you know what? I was about to lose my apartment because my supplier and my supplies and all that fell through, and I stopped dealing. So I ran out of money. And I really, really, really didn't want to move back home, because at the time I think I was like 22 or 23, and I thought that moving back home was like absolutely 100% admitting defeat, and I had never moved home before. Little did I know it would be the first of 3 times that I'd moved back home. And so I really didn't want to move back home. So what I decided to do was I decided to go back to school, but I was going to go to school in Edmonton. See, the thing was, my sister's boyfriend lived in Edmonton, and he was going to school. And I had literally nothing going on. And while my money was drying up, I still had maybe $5,000 or $6,000 left in my savings, right? So I decided to enroll in Grant MacEwan University, and I studied mathematical science, and I did really well. I did really well, actually. And there was a time while I was going to school there, I moved there, and there was a time while I was going to school there where I actually really had my life somewhat in better control. I wasn't drinking before I did things other than at night, right? Like, for example, I never drank before school. And sometimes my school would be at like 5 p.m. So I wouldn't drink during the entire day, which was a huge accomplishment. So I felt like I was kind of getting better. You know, I felt like, okay, I'm like, little things are starting to get better, right? But then the school year ended, and then I didn't have that encouragement, that need. I didn't have to study for anything. I didn't have to. There was no homework. You know, I literally had time to party. That's when people in college party, when they're off college. You know, so I fell right back into it. But the problem was, at this time, I was also doing cocaine because I was working at a sports bar, and I was working 12-hour shifts, and I was working 12-hour shifts, usually 5-6 days a week, because school is done. And it was just so much. And a lot of people in the restaurant industry are doing cocaine while they make your food, you know. And I got into that, and it just got really, really bad. And this is the SA warning. So I'm going to give you the sexual assault warning right now. But one night, I was at the bar, and I was drinking alone. And at this point, I had already been in the phase of drinking alone for about 2 years. And I was drinking alone at the bar, and I went out for a dart, and I saw a very, very cool, like, brand new BMW. It was very futuristic. It was like one of those cars that you see on like billboards. It was very, very, very cool. And even the rims like lit up. Like, it was incredible. And I was admiring the car, but I was loaded. Like, I must have had like 10 schooners. And yeah, so I was loaded. And I actually ended up meeting the guy who owned the BMW. And we were talking at the bar, and he said, "Hey, I've only had one drink. Would you like to go, like, for a ride in downtown Edmonton? Like, just around the city core for a little bit?" And I was like, sure. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? I was an adult at this point. I felt like I was 100% safe, you know. But at the same time, I was loaded, so I had a false sense of safety, right? So we ended up driving a bit, and that was really the end of what I remembered. You know, we were driving in his car, and I even felt safe in his car because it was a convertible. And I remember it being a convertible because I remember feeling safer that it wasn't in a confined car. I remember feeling like if he tried to attack me or anything, I could just jump out of the car, you know? And so I went with him. And then, here's the hard part, and I'm just going to say it. Then I woke up in the hallway of an apartment building, and I didn't know where I was. And, okay, I didn't know where I was, and I went downstairs, and I looked around, and I still didn't know where I was, and I went on Google Maps, and I figured out where I was, and I got into a cab, and I went home, and I didn't tell anybody about it at all. And that is as much as I can say that I want to talk about it on this video. I will open up about it in a future video when I have a better capacity to tell my story in a better thing. But either way, I didn't tell anybody except I told my supervisor at work. I was really close with my supervisor at work, and he brought me to the hospital, and they did everything, and we reported it, and that was that. But that was also the moment that I realized that I have to get out of this city. I have to leave, and I have to leave like really soon. Like this city, like I'm gonna get injured in this city. And I don't think it was the city. I think that it was just me, right? Like, I think that it was me realizing that I was falling so deep into this alcohol that I was going to get in trouble. And if I was going to get in trouble, I needed to be around my family at least. So if I did get in trouble, they would be there to have my back, you know? So at that moment, I was very, very much considering just packing up and leaving. But then something happened about a week and a half later that just absolutely sealed the deal. And I'm going to tell this in a joking way because me and my sister just have to laugh about it now because this guy was such a dork. So, my boss at my old kitchen job, he was like a temporary kitchen manager, and he came in, and he was the biggest dork in the whole world. He told us, and he was like 500 pounds, and he had foot fungus, and he was in the kitchen, and he would wear sandals, and he would like spray like foot spray like in the kitchen. It was so gross. It was. He told us a story where he had to scuba dive 500 meters underneath the sea, and then oh my god. So when I tell this story, I just kind of have to laugh about it. But the thing was, this guy was a big guy. He was like 6'7" and like 550 pounds. He was a big guy, and me and my sister and her boyfriend, we were all living together in a penthouse apartment in Edmonton. And we were living up there, and we decided to have a party. We decided to have an industry party with a lot of the people that worked in the restaurant industry. And this dork overheard that we were having a party, and he decided to strong arm his way in by using his position, by saying, I'm your boss and I can make your job much easier if, you let me come to your party. He was such a penis. But that being said, we reluctantly let this guy come to the party. And we were all having a good time, and this guy was just telling stories or whatever. And I don't know how it happened. I don't know what led up to it. But he picked me up, right? He was a big guy. He picked me up kind of like you would cradle like a newlywed going through the threshold. And he picked me up. And I told him, don't pick me up. We're on a balcony, and it's 17 stories high. And he says, oh, you don't trust me? And I said, no, I don't trust you. So this guy decided to hold me over the balcony. I couldn't believe it. He held me over the balcony. And then he brought me back over. And then I remember we all pulled him in and basically we kicked him out as quick as we could, but he was our boss, right? So we told him, we're not coming into work tomorrow. Absolutely not at all whatsoever. Get out. And we called the cops on him. We said, listen, we're charging you with like attempted murder. Like, are you kidding me? You like hang somebody over a 17-story balcony? I still to this day have PTSD nightmares because of it. I'm mortified of anything over the 3rd story because of it. And I have nightmares where I'm constantly hanging on the side of buildings because of it. So thanks a lot, you dick. That being said, when I went into work, I went up to my boss and I said, listen, this is what happened. Here's the police report. You need to fire this guy immediately so I can get back to work. Because there's no way that I'm working with this guy. And they said, basically, no, we're not firing him at all. Actually, we're firing you unless you want to work with him. So I said, you know what? I'm moving back home. And then I said, Mama, I'm coming home. And that's what I did. And I left Edmonton. Like 2 days later. And my drinking just continued and continued. But then it continued at home. And guys, that's the end of part 3. Thank you so much for listening to part 3. Wherever you are in the whole wide world, please be sober. I really care about you. Please drop me a line if you need me. Please contact me. I am here. I usually respond within 6 hours. Remember, please ask me a question if you want on my Ask Me Anything, and I will upload part 4 tomorrow. And guys, I'm doing the 250 subscriber giveaway. I'm donating to every continent on Earth that has addiction programs, so if you want to get in on that, please like and subscribe. You don't even need to like, just subscribe. And let me know where you're located. Let me know what country you're in so I can put you into the draw. Alright guys, I gotta get going. I have no idea how much memory I have left. Also, I'm exhausted. I've had such a long day. I hope you really liked this video, and it was a hard video for me to make, but I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon. And I hope you like this teddy bear. This teddy bear is the mascot of the channel. It's a sober bear. Alright guys, bye!